This is Q.I.Q, the question in question. Brought to you by TherapyBites Art Lab. Here to take a bite out of modern-day pseudo-psychological psycho-malarkey. Now entering the Art Lab studio, today's T-Ballers, a collection of fellow strugglers, confronting personal challenges, navigating precarious relationships, and tackling trauma. Humans like each of us, juggling difficult human emotions, each here with unique life experiences, lived stories, and questions we'll bite into that just might help you too. And now, entering the Art Lab studio for the 9,880th time is the host of Therapy Bites Q.i.Q, Doc Heath.
Hey guys, welcome to Q.i.Q, and it may be a quick one this evening because I am, as we speak, waiting on an electrician because it is 108 degrees outside and our air conditioning is out. And surprisingly, I'm not sweating just yet, but I plan on that very soon. And so I hope all you guys are staying cool in this really hot weather. Be sure that you're keeping your pets cool and giving them plenty of water, plenty of shade, and caring for our furry four-legged friends, or even if they don't have four legs. Care for those that you can. So we're going to go to the board and spend about the next, 15, 16 minutes learning what we hope to be some cool isn't that funny I said cool? Cool psychological concepts. And on the board we have, as always, Couch Crumbs questions, or it could be a quote. Creature feature, which is our way of explaining some psychological concepts in easy to understand ways, we hope. Social media smackdown, because as we all know, there's so much nonsense and misinformation on social media. Fresh with a therapy couch, down to earth, shoe leather level, things to kind of help encourage. Couch Crumbs, which is our newsletter. Neuro, which also is Psych Secrets. Hopefully some neuroscience stuff that you guys will find interesting. And our first item is up this evening from Art Lab Couch Crumbs questions. I thought it was going to be a quote, but this is actually just a question. But I'm going to give you the answer, and I'll put it over there in the chat. And this is for 600 Psy coins. What can you do with those? Well, you can save them up, buy stuff from the company store. I'll put this in the chat. And away, as the Joker said in Batman, we go. And the answer is an existential philosopher. He emphasized individual freedom. Gosh, isn't that really needed today? And not just individual freedom, but individual thinking. We farm out so much of our thinking to friends, family, spouses, neighbors, people on social media. Don't do that. That's not good for you. Your individual freedom is first and foremost your ability to decide what to think. And Sartre was, did I just give it away? This philosopher was big on that. And he emphasized individual freedom, responsibility, and subjective meaning. Now, what is subjective meaning? That means that you as an individual get to decide meaning of any moment. And William said, well, that's one of my other favorite philosophers there, Viktor Frankl. He was a Austrian psychiatrist, not Franklo, but Frankl, F-R-E-N-K-L. That's a typo, I'm sure. But the answer here, and I'll put his name up on the board because I think that you guys should look him up. Or as we say, T-Ballers, because that stands for TherapyBites Art Labbers. And this is actually Jean-Paul Sartre, or some pronounce it Sartre. But I used to just say Sartre, as most people do. Let's go back to the board and pick our next item there. This is going to come from Creature Feature for 200 Psy coins. I really want to talk more about that personal responsibility. As, by the way, Frankl, one of my favorite quotes from Frankl is, responsibility is the ability to respond. Isn't that cool? Don't you wish you'd come up with that? I wish I'd come up with it. We're going to put this in the chat, then we'll take a break as we always do to kind of let you guys gather your thoughts, and we'll be right back.
You are a fellow human struggling with difficult emotions, a fracturing relationship, parenting problem, mental health difficulty, have a psychotherapy from hell story to tell, or a challenging life experience question, and would like to share your story by stepping up to bat as a T-baller, either register by texting Q.i.Q to 1-870-686-4196 and join our Therapy Bites community, or send a postcard with your name, address, phone number, email address, and age to the address on the screen. Therapy Bites, Q.i.Q, P.O. Box 1391, Jonesboro, Arkansas, 72403, 1391.
And yes, we really do check that old-fashioned post office box. You know, I never thought about it, but you can't send an email to a P.O. box. You got to do it the old-fashioned way. Get a postcard or a letter, and you don't even have to lick a stamp anymore. Back in my day, you actually had to lick the stamp. I think they found out that might not be good for you. Or maybe it just upsets somebody's stomach. But yeah, just send us a postcard. What do you think would come up with our questions? And the answer here is, for 200 Psy coins, this cognitive distortion, creature feature, by the way, this cognitive distortion is when someone predicts the future. Oh my. Somebody's quick on the draw. I'm going to read the question. When someone predicts the future negatively without having any substantial evidence to believe these predictions will happen, and when you do this, it leads to anxiety. If you really want to create more anxiety, walk around believing that you know what's going to happen tomorrow, the next day, the day after that. And one more thing. Just because you guessed correctly doesn't mean you knew. You just guessed right. You rolled the dice. I mean, if you have limited options on the die, 1 through 6, and you got 2 of them, well, how many possible choices could you have? 12. You do the math there? 12. It's going to be somewhere between 2. Actually, I guess that's 11, right? Between 2 and 12. Gosh, I got my math wrong. But, yeah, William got it right, is what is fortune telling? I had it copied off, and William got 200 Psy coins. I'm going to type that in the chat. Wins 200. I don't know if I've ever added up the number of options on a die. I guess if you have 1 die, it's 6. And if you have 2 die, it's just 11, because you can't roll a 1 when you got 2 die that have a 1. But I do statistics, but I'm not a mathematician. My computer does all that. Aren't we spoiled? Okay, let's go back to the board. And this item will come from one of my favorite categories. You guys that know me, you know this. Don't I love debates? Yes, I do. I just try not to be evil with it. Respect, always. Respect all the way around. I'm going to pop this up on the board, give you time to think about it, and we'll be right back after this.
If you plan on being in the local area of your podcast player app and would like complimentary tickets to the Therapy Bites Q.i.Q Art Lab studio audience, please search Therapy Bites on your device and just smash that subscribe button. Your complimentary ticket grants you access to alerts so you'll never miss a show.
And this is not worth 400 Psy coins. It is the T-ball triple of the day, and it is 1,200. See, I got that math right. I love learning 3 times 4. 12. Just add a 0. 1,200 Psy coins for this tiny little answer here. And I'll put it up on the board, even though it's a lot of text. I don't know if you can read all that. This is the distorted belief. Keywords, distorted belief. The keyword, distorted. That a relationship in and of itself is a danger to you, the relationship, and cannot be salvaged. It ignores the agency, Jean-Paul Sartre like this. It ignores the free will and internal locus of control of those in the relationship, their power to change from a unhealthy course to a healthy course, from unhealthy cognitions or thoughts to healthy cognitions, from unhealthy to healthy behaviors. And our clock is out. And what is it? It's so cool I put it up on the board, that is. Wouldn't it be cool if I had a chalkboard back there? I could write all this out. But it might take me a while. The question is, what is a toxic relationship? Battery acid is toxic. You shouldn't drink it. And it's toxic for everybody. And as I made the point to a patient earlier today, if you call the relationship toxic, would it be toxic for any of the other 8 billion human beings on the planet, or at least maybe the 1.5 billion that is able to be in a relationship? Well, no, it wouldn't. And what that tells you is it's not the relationship that's toxic. It's people make distorted thoughts in the relationship. And if you both will work together and individually first, together eventually, it's a mistake to start off relationship counseling with both people in the room. Do individual sessions, lay some groundwork, and then we'll get together. That's just the protocol we use here at the Art Lab. But if you work on your thoughts individually, you're the ingredients of that relationship. And when you put healthy ingredients together, you have a healthy relationship. It's not that the relationship is toxic. It has two people that on their own are experiencing distorted thinking. Fix the distorted thinking, the relationship will take care of itself. And there's just some free relationship coaching there, by the way. You're welcome. And what is a toxic relationship? They don't exist. It shuts down options. It's underthinking. It gets in the way of progress. So you can think that if you want, but it's a distorted thought. It says that this relationship is not salvageable. And as I often tell people, unless it's against the laws of physics, it is doable. Everything is figure outable unless it's against the laws of physics. Let's go back to the board for our next item here, and this is going to come from fresh from the therapy couch. We're putting some shoe leather, as my dad used to say, on some of our psychological concepts to help people better understand those. And let me go back here, and I will put that item up there on the board for 600 PsyCoins. This psychological pattern involves persistently doubting one's own skills or accomplishments and thinking that you'll be exposed as a fraud despite evident success or competence. See, when you believe this about yourself, then evidence is out the window. You've already said the evidence doesn't matter. And often people will preface it with the F word, F-E-E-L. I feel like a, and I'm not going to give it away this time. But this is also a cognitive distortion. It's also a form of underthinking. What is underthinking? You've heard about overthinking. I've never encountered it. I've never met someone that literally thought too much. They were really ignoring important aspects of the situation, and that's underthinking. And this is a type of underthinking. And I think when I put it up, it'll make sense. You'll say, hey, I've heard of that. It's called imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome is just underthinking. It's ignoring important aspects of you, ignoring important aspects of all that you've accomplished, all that you've learned, even all of that life experience. And you might say, well, they said that I didn't know what I was doing. Okay, I'm sure they did. I have 2 doctorates, and I have people that tell me I don't know what I'm doing. I get to decide who to listen to, and that's your power. You get to decide who to listen to. Even if it's me, you don't have to listen to me. If you want to, that's okay, but you don't have to. And I would never take that power away from you. I invite you to sculpt as if you're creating a work of art, a statue of art, to sculpt your own reality in a way that works with you. I don't have to agree with it. If it works for you, it works for you. Let's go back to the board. before we run out of time here. And this is going to come from Couch Crumb's newsletter. And I will put this up on the board. Actually, I won't put it on the board just yet. I'll put it in the chat so that you can read it. And we will be right back.
Premier accommodations for our T-Ball contributors provided electronically by the luxurious Art Lab Studio, overlooking the steaming cesspool of pseudo-psychological social media psychomalarkey and located in cyberspace on your favorite podcast hosting platform, where we invite you to the most psychomalogically thrilling podcast in town, while you feast on our award-winning psychologically nutritious buffet of TherapyBites cuisine, conscientiously cooked up by your hard-working T-Ball team chefs.
Okay, during the break, I was checking on my heat and air guy. I don't need the heat, but the air would be nice. And I don't know, maybe they're on the way. I'll pull this up on the board here, and the answer is for 200 Psycoins. This is a curveball, by the way. Get ready for the curveball. These are normal but invisible human experiences often discussed in our Couch Crumbs newsletter. We're each meant to experience them. We're meant to have them, and they're created by, manufactured by our own thought processes. I'll add to it. It's not event, situation, circumstances that manufacture these. It's our own thought processes. And ding, 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 we're out of time on that one. Guess what that is? Drum roll, please. It's going to shock a lot of people. I'll put it up on the board. Feelings. Feelings are invisible. Emotions aren't invisible. So let's have a debate if you like. Any evidence that you would share with me that you think is a feeling is actually a behavior. You might say, I know you're angry because your face is red. Red face, that's a behavior. You're throwing the toaster oven. Behavior. You're stomping up and down. You're crying. You're fidgeting. Behavior. Now, you may be able to guess the emotion associated with a behavior. By the way, emotions don't cause behavior. What causes emotions? Thought processes. What causes behavior? Same answer. Thought processes. Thought processes manufacture both emotion and behavior. You just notice the emotion first, but it's a thought process that is creating it. Feelings, emotions, they're invisible. How do you know people have them? Well, I would recommend going low tech. Ask them. If you want to know the emotion someone is experiencing, just ask. Okay, well, that's about all the time we have in the Art Lab today, and thank you for joining us. We will be back tomorrow morning. Set your calendar with a live stream for Executive Espresso, a top business thinker that will share out with you guys in business and you entrepreneurs how to level up your success. And I think you're going to love it. You can go on our YouTube channel at TherapyBites, and you can read all about it in the show notes, and you can watch the live stream tomorrow on, well, Twitter and LinkedIn. We're streaming there now, and Facebook, and of course YouTube. Thanks for joining us. We'll catch you next time.
Next time on TherapyBites Art Lab Q.i.Q, Doc Keith and T-Ball callers face off against steaming piles of pseudo-psychological psychomalarkey directly from your favorite social media platforms, or perhaps from the psychotherapy couch of a pill-pushing, emotion-demonizing, bobble-headed, woo-woo clinician who fed their kooky Kool-Aid to you. This is Art Potto speaking. TherapyBites Q.i.Q is a Dr. I'm a Floyd Knot production. Distributed by the TherapyBites Art Lab Podcast.